So welcome everybody to the Apprentice Forum. What we wanted to do was just get some real life experiences from our apprentices, try and invite some people in and just talk how they've got through this COVID situation. Now we've seen our apprentices in front of us who have really worked hard to get through this. So we just wanted to ask you a few questions just to get a real feel for how you've managed to get through this. So over to Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. So what's been your overall experience over the last sort of 10 months or so? So would anybody like to volunteer first to answer that? So this is your experience through COVID with the apprenticeship. I will pick on people. Sarah knows this from workshops. So go on then, Tricia. Thank you.
Well, for me, I went on furlough in, yeah?
Yes.
There's a bit of a delay.
There is a little bit of a delay. I tell you what, Tricia, if you wouldn't mind, if I can just ask Sarah that question, just to see if is that all right, Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay.
My experience hasn't really changed that much. I've been in the office still throughout COVID. With regards to the apprenticeship, the only real difference for me is that it's moved on to Zoom meetings rather than being physically in the workshop with other people that are attending. We're all virtual instead, but that suits me really. It makes it easier for me. There's no travelling, there's no organising cars. Yeah, it's quite useful for me, to be honest.
Yeah. And what about Ben? Have you got any similar experience, or is yours different?
Well, we've been building first of all shut when the first lockdown hit. UKRI, which is the government's research councils, couldn't decide what they wanted to do, and they decided to send everybody home. So everybody who's an office worker who can work from home have been stuck at home since March last year. But myself, because I'm a print technician, we need to be in the building. So they decided to open the building throughout the year. It's just we've been doing like three days and then 2 days, sort of like a shift rotation in the group. So yeah, that's the best way I could put it.
Right. Okay. So, and has that worked for you then? Have you been able to do obviously the theory side as well as the more practical stuff?
Yeah. Coursework has been whatever days I've been off has given me the perfect opportunity to get as far ahead of my coursework as I possibly can. And on the research and all the tasks that I've been set by my assessor.
Right. And Sophie, how has work been affected by COVID where you are?
I worked from home for the first month, or like the first lockdown properly, and then I've been back in the office since July. But I agree, I felt like I've managed to do a lot more work because I'm at home all the time. I'm not get distracted. I haven't got things to do at the weekends, something to do in the evening. Always can just do my work rather than just choose a different time.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So, and what about Jaden? What about you? Jaden there? Tell you what, let's move on to Joshua.
What's that then?
Yeah.
Not you.
The joys of Zoom. So,
yeah.
Josh, how has your experience been over the last 10 months with your apprenticeship and the pandemic?
So when lockdown first started, I had to work from home. It was like the day after my birthday, I think. So
happy birthday!
Cheers. So it was all just a bit quick and just like random, and company was sorting things out here and there. But as time went on, it got a lot easier, like to do it and get used to it. But now I'm back in the office, helping out with like dispatch of print in that department. So I've been back in the office since November, I think. But I feel like it's been a lot more manageable as time's gone on and everyone's got more used to doing things. I think it's got a lot easier as we've got further into the pandemic.
So try this with Tricia. So, have you had much support from work during the pandemic as part of your apprenticeship?
Yeah, well, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's a lot better. Thank you.
Oh, good. Well, my manager happens to be on the course with me, which is great because we can, support each other. Yeah, so it's been a godsend for me because I was on furlough for quite a long time, and having a course location sort of helped me to get up every day and structure, and I really got ahead. So one of the positives about it.
That's great. So a silver lining there. So
Yeah.
Jaden, are you with us?
Yeah, sorry. One of the big differences for me is having two younger siblings running around the house screaming and shouting. So
yeah, no, I understand that. I've got two little boys doing the same thing. So yeah.
To be fair, it hasn't affected me much. It's just a change of scenery for me. I can get on with my work and do my apprenticeship quite easy from home. No effect for me at all.
Right. Okay. That's great. So Ben, you mentioned earlier on about you being able to go into work, but also study from home. So, did that level of support come from your employer? What was actually said? What was?
It's been my employer's been really flexible with how I've been working through lockdown and everything. So work's been on and off. It's been going up and down. We've been printing COVID signs, like the 2 meter distance stickers you see on the floors in all stores. We've been printed them. We've been doing loads of them for all of our science research stations across the country. So we've been sending them out. So it's been quite hectic. But obviously, like I said, work's been going up and down. And obviously, because we've been going in, like I mentioned earlier, the 3 and 2 days, it's given, like I said, it's been giving me the perfect opportunity to be flexible with what I'm doing with my work and all the research that I'm doing as well.
So, just as a general question to all of you, has COVID actually made you more busier at work, or has work dropped off as a result?
A
lot busier, Ben. So, Sophie, what about you?
A lot busier.
Right. Okay. And is it similar to what Ben's been doing? Is it obviously the signage and all this type of stuff?
Not really. It's just loads of stuff, loads of specific things. It's like new things, old things, all coming at once. To be honest.
I think I found with a lot of my learners who work in sort of food packaging, their sort of order book went crazy, as a result of COVID and stuff. So, do you think that how has the BPF supported you through this? Has there been any sort of challenges, obviously, from moving from a traditional training room to Zoom, for instance? How has the sort of BPF supported you over the last few months, do you think?
I think the training's been pretty good, but it was more of just us having to learn and get on with it ourselves than actual training. But I feel like that might have helped us in the long run because it's made us understand it more, the fact that we've had to go out ourselves and learn a lot more than we usually would. Like usually just get given a handbook and get told this is what to revise, but we actually had to go out and find our own information. So I think that might have helped us.
Oh, that's interesting. What about you, Tricia?
Well, it's just online, it's never going to be the same as being in the classroom and having discussions with each other. But Dominic, who's my tutor, we hear from him every month, every 2 weeks. He's always there if we need help. There's no change there.
Brilliant. And what about you, Jaden?
Oh, I found it the same, to be fair. If you're in front of me or you're on a Zoom call with me, I don't see the difference, to be fair. It's not much of an effect on me as long as I crack on with my work. If I've got any questions, I ask the question to either my employer or my tutor, and they're happy to send me an answer rather message or video chat. So,
have you found potentially that people are more accessible now, or no? What's your experience? So, Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, I've found it a lot easier to access kind of resources, or if you need to go and see somebody, just Zoom them instead of actually going physically in the car to get there. Yeah, it's so much easier now. Yeah.
And as a result of that extra contact, how do you think mental health is talked about enough during your apprenticeship? So what about Jaden? What do you think?
Yeah, our employees got like these like set people around office that'll talk to you, that you can get in touch with, that are like trained like to help in these situations. We get sent emails out every week to talk about it and to say what's going on within the company.
Has anybody got any similar experience to Jaden or different?
Yeah, me and Jaden work in the same company, so I pretty much agree with what you just said. Yeah.
Okay. What about Ben?
UKRI have got a whole list of things on our on like a hub sort of, which accesses different phone calls and stuff that we can speak to, so like Samaritans and stuff. We also have a doctor that comes around once a month. The phones us and speaks to us as well, just to make sure that we're all okay and we're coping. So yeah, it's been good. Yeah.
Do you think possibly it might be an idea to have an apprentice forum every month or so for everybody to come in on? What do you think to that sort of idea? You know, so you could join other cohorts, other learners, and just be able to sort of share your experiences and things.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I think we should. I think that is the best idea we could do. Because it will help us all get information and help us get through this.
Yeah. What about you, Sophie? What's your opinion on that one?
No, I like that idea. Talking to new people, looking at other people's experiences, learning about new companies and all of that. I totally agree.
Because I think with some of my learners, they obviously use WhatsApp as a group chat and all that kind of stuff. But I think it would be quite nice to bring people a bit more together, more over video to do that. Sarah, what would you think is the best sort of part of the apprenticeship so far for you? What do you think has been the most valuable?
Oh, okay.
Biggie. I know it's a biggie. Sorry.
Start. Okay, so for me, it's probably actually spending time learning. So, you know, you go to work, you do your job, you go home, and you don't really feel like you're progressing much. Whereas this course, there's always different things to learn, different things to look at. So there's a lot of, on the course I'm on, there's a lot of different management theories and, you know, models to use and kind of tools. And it's really interesting learning that. And I feel like I manage differently now already, and I've only been doing it a year, so I can definitely feel the improvement. Yeah, it's good.
I can see there's a couple of questions come through on the chat. So Gary has asked, how are people managing with the flexi furlough and trying to stay focused? So Tricia, that might be a good one for you. What do you think?
Well, I think it's quite easy. I've only got my project and endpoint assessment to do, so I'm the end is in sight, goal is in sight. Self-motivated to get it done, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
Has anybody been on a flexible furlough? Jaden, have you been on a flexible? No, Josh.
No.
Okay. So, what do you think? Obviously, some of you have had experience in the training room before the pandemic, and then obviously we've been focused in Zoom afterwards. Have you got a preference for either, or would you think maybe a more blended approach would work, where we're doing a mixture? What are your guys' opinions on that? So, I think, Sophie, what about you?
I only ever had one face-to-face thing, and then I got straight into Zoom, so I haven't really got much to compare against. But I like the blended approach because you actually get to see them in real life as well as online. But yeah, I've all I've known is Zoom, so I can't really compare.
Yeah. And Sarah, you've probably got a similar experience, haven't you? Because I think we did the induction and then pretty much the pandemic started, didn't we?
Yeah, it was one session for induction, and then we went on Zoom after that because the lockdown was straight after the next month. So yeah, it's nice being in the classroom together. You get to kind of build stronger relationships, I think, being face to face. But it works still on Zoom. I think both would be a good approach. Yeah.
And Jaden, what about you? I don't want to leave you out.
I've had a fair few face-to-face. It's nice to see everyone and like in a group and just talk and everything. But Zoom, I think you can still do the same with cameras and everything like that. Just have a catch up with everyone in the morning on cameras and face-to-face talk.
I much prefer human interaction than Zoom.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that I'm back in the office now because I actually get to talk to real people.
Yeah. No, I understand that. And you were nodding your head there, Ben. Do you agree with that, what Josh has just said?
Yeah, I miss human interaction like Josh just said. Yeah.
So what, apart from that, is there any other downsides to potentially doing everything over video, do you think?
There's more technical problems. That's like the main thing. It's just like people lag in and out and talking over each other and like just things that you can't help happen.
Amazon orders, doorbells for Amazon orders, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so given that, so Tricia, you're coming towards the end, obviously, if you're ready for the endpoint assessment. It's a bit of a loaded question, I imagine, but would you recommend this type of course to your colleagues or anybody else that you know of? What do you think?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because as Sarah said, you learn how to reflect on what you're doing and actually take a step back. And it's just been invaluable. And you get. I learned about my weaknesses and have built on them. For example, present me to groups. So this is good experience for me. And delegation is another one, which is a real weakness of mine that will improve. So yeah, 100%. Even if you're not managing people, because I changed role during my course, and I'm not managing a team anymore, but I manage accounts, so you can transfer it to different roles as well.
No. And whereabouts are you on your sort of learner journey, Sophie, as we call it? Whereabouts are you so far?
I think I'm about halfway.
About halfway. Okay.
So,
and so after being halfway through, do you think it's been a worthwhile experience so far, or would you?
I've learned loads of stuff in this time. I've learned way more than I ever thought I would.
Okay. And what about Ben?
Yeah, I'm halfway through my apprenticeship. I've been there just over a year and a half now. So I'm halfway through all my learning. I'm getting there. It's helped with. Well, it's sort of helped with my learning experience because I've learned so much more than what I've ever done in the past. So it's really good. I would recommend it to anyone.
That's great. And what are your ambitions after the course is sort of completed and you've sort of completed the EPA? So what about Ben first? You look ready to answer. We've got about 2 minutes left, so I'm going to just try and get everybody to answer this. So I'll shut up. Go for it.
I just want to continue where I am. I really enjoy working where I am. I just want to work my way up in JRS or in my company. So.
Okay. And Jaden, what about you?
Just to continue learning even after the apprenticeship, just continue to gain more skills and experience and just move up on the ladder or find a new position somewhere else and carry on from that.
Yeah. And Josh?
Use the connections at my company that I work for to be able to move around other places, gain life experiences from work experiences and learn doing different things.
Okay, thank you. And Tricia?
Well, as I mentioned, I just started my new role about a year ago as an account manager, so I just want to take the opportunity for all I've learned to apply that to the new role.
Yeah.
And hopefully be successful in that.
We are about to run out of time, so just so you know, for the next session for the apprentices, it's My Journey in Print with Aaron Priest, and for the employers, it's Supporting Your Staff's Wellbeing with Sophie Kirby from the Printing Charity. So thank you very much for this. Just before we do get off, Sophie and Sarah, just the last question, if you can quickly answer it for me before everything goes black.
One of the best things for group role rather than site-based. So doing the same but on a wider level.
Thank you. So sorry, Sophie, I should have directed people. Then go on. You take your opportunity now.
Growing my department, keep going up and up.
Right. Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you all for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and your week. And Sarah, I'll mark that assignment later on today if I get a chance. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Right.
Thanks,
Take
Ben.
care, everybody.